The markets continue to trade slightly off the highs of the day. Most sectors trade with gains led by metals and healthcare. The auto and consumer durables lag slightly. The White House spokesperson Kush Desai confirms that the US is not considering imposition of any tariffs on generics. The clarification comes as a relief for Indian pharma, driving stocks higher. TCS is set to announce a muted quarter on weak revenue growth and a wage hike impact on its profitability, but the focus is on the company's comments on demand, the H-1B revision, AI, and the employee separation. Even as realty players like Lodha, Keystone and Sobha post a slowing down in business growth, Prestige Estates springs a surprise with a 50% growth in sales, riding on a 47% growth in volumes. The stock climbs. And even as the nation remembers Ratan Tata on his first death anniversary, the recent differences among the Tata Trust's members casts a shadow. Good afternoon, you're with us here on Business Lunch. We are coming to you live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I am Hormuz Patakia. It's been a fairly good day for the markets, but the common theme has been the fact that there continues to remain resistance at higher levels. Today's intraday high is 25,181 on the Nifty, and that is below yesterday's high, which was around 25,190 odd levels. So it's yet another lower high that the index has made on the charts, at least as of now. And today's intraday low as well, 25,024. So roundabout falling below yesterday's levels as well. So it's a lower high, lower low scenario that is playing out currently for the market. We're still a couple of hours away from the close, today being the weekly expiry of the BSE contract. So we keep an eye out on all of that. But the broader markets, they've been fairly okay. The stock specific activity though has been pretty active in the broader markets. The mid-cap index is at the highest point of the day, 400 points higher there. The small-cap index too now 0.3% higher, doing fairly well for itself. The recovery, the very little recovery that you saw from the Nifty was courtesy the IT names. And you pull up TCS reporting results later this evening, and the stock has been doing fairly okay for itself. And now the IT index is at the highest point of the day, 1% higher. TCS now 0.6% higher. There's a slight cool off that you have seen from the highs for TCS, but there has been a recovery from the lows nonetheless. The stock has been rebounding from the 52-week low that it had hit on the 1st of October. And the other Tata Group company reporting results today is Tata Elxsi. That too, at last check, was trading with gains of around about 2%. And we'll keep an eye out on Tata Elxsi as well. It's slightly off the highs of the day here as well, but 1% higher on Tata Elxsi, numbers expected after market hours. And since we are at the Tata Group, the big exclusive we are tracking at lunch hour. Now, sources close to the conglomerate or the Tata Group have told CNBC TV18 that all trustees are confident that deliberations of the last few days will lead to a harmonious working relationship. Let's bring in Parikshit for more details on this. Parikshit, tell us more.
Ahead of the Tata Sons board meeting on October 10 in Mumbai, sources close to the Tata Group are hoping the differences between the trustees will be ironed out. Sources familiar with the matter say that all trustees of Tata Group have had time to reflect over the events over the past few days. They told CNBC TV18 that they are confident that deliberations of the last few days will lead to some sort of harmonious working among the trustees and Tata Sons board members. We also learned that contrary to some reports, there was no difference among trustees on the appointment of Noel Tata as chairman of Tata Trust. Noel Tata was in fact appointed as chairman of Tata Trust unanimously. All Tata trustees unanimously believe that Tata Sons should remain a private entity, even as the RBI had mandated a public listing of Tata Sons by the 30th of September this year. Sources say that the government was obviously concerned about differences among trustees and therefore held a meeting with members of both Tata Trusts and Tata Sons on Tuesday. Apart from differences over the appointment of independent directors, including Anita George, Tata Group trustees were divided over the resignation of Vijay Singh, the former defense secretary, as nominee director on the Tata Sons board. While the appointment of nominee directors above 75 years of age is reviewed annually, some believe there was no provocation or reason for Singh to leave the Tata Sons board, considering his immense contribution. But he was in a way made to do so. We have been told that the Tata Sons board meeting tomorrow will only look at routine matters, including disbursement of funds for charitable purposes. And none of these differences which we've been seeing play out in the media over the last few weeks and also before the government is likely to be taken up.
Indeed, Parikshit, thank you for that update there. More developments emerging for the Tata Group. Now, the other major issue here at hand is that there is a huge US FDA shadow over Hetero Labs. Now, the US FDA has issued 6 observations on this. Now, Vivek is joining in with more updates with regard to this. Vivek.
Well, good afternoon now. So what we are basically tracking is a company called Hetero Labs. Remember, this is an unlisted entity, but a very large pharma company. And the facility under question is Unit 9, a very large 800-acre facility in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Now, what we understand from our sources is that the US FDA recently conducted an inspection between September 19th to September 26th of 2025. And at the end of the inspection, issued a 14-page Form 483, which had 6 observations, quite a few of them quite serious in nature. Now, this particular facility that we're talking about is an API facility called Unit 9 and popularly known as the Nakkapalli facility of Hetero. Now, let's have a look at the observations and we'll highlight the serious ones. The first observation says that the quality control unit procedures were not fully followed, and they say that there was an unregistered testing laboratory that was located outside the official facility of the plant. The second observation mentions that finished APIs intended for the US market was released to an off-site API warehouse without documentation. A few of them are routine in nature, but have a look at observation 6. Observation 6 says that there was failure to reconcile quantities of identification labels, and also there was specification, out of specification results that came out of the unregistered facility. These observations appear to be quite serious in nature. Now, we spoke to a few industry experts as to what exactly this particular development and this particular Form 483 could mean for Hetero, and experts say that in case there is an escalation, it could mean that there could be temporary supply disruption in the key products that this particular facility exports to both the US as well as the Europe markets. Now, which are the other alternate suppliers? First on the list would be Laurus Labs, given the fact that Hetero is a very large player as far as the global ARV HIV market is concerned. So Laurus Labs, Aurobindo Pharma, there are significant product overlaps, and Divi's Labs are the 3 companies that could gain to or that could stand to benefit in case there is an escalation of this particular Form 483. We tried and we reached out to the management of Hetero Labs. We are yet to receive a response from them.
Interesting developments there, Vivek. Thank you for bringing that to us. But the other major event that we are tracking today is the start of yet another earnings season. And TCS set to report numbers later today. Rima is here with what the street is expecting. Rima.
Well, muted expectations this time going into TCS. But the good news is that it's going to be better than what we've seen in the last 2 quarters, which was a decline in the revenue. So at least this quarter, the company, according to the CNBC TV18 poll, is likely to grow by about 0.2% in constant currency terms. In dollar terms, it should be a growth of about 0.4%. Margins for the company are likely to expand by about 20 basis points to 24.7%. INR tailwind, that's a big positive because the rupee has depreciated by about 2.5% in the current quarter. Part of it will be offset by the wage effect, which kicks in from 1st September. So 1 month impact on the back of that. The investor focus, though, will be on beyond the numbers. Up until now, the company has said that at least for the international business, which is basically a revenues X of the BSNL deal, will be better this year compared to last year. But we know that, the trade deal has still not been struck, and that has caused a lot of, that lack of clarity on account of the trade deal has resulted in client spending being muted, discretionary demand not reviving. Does the company continue to hold on to that? So what do they have to say about demand? And secondly, the other big thing that happened with TCS this quarter was the fact that they had to let go of 12,000 people. And plus on the HR front, there was this increase in the H-1B visa cost, which comes in from the next financial year. So we'll quiz the management on, what the de-risking strategy is going to be, if there is any on-site impact of that. The stock, on a year-to-date basis is down close to about 20% because it's recovered over the last couple of days. Valuations are in line with its long-term averages at about 19-20 times forward multiple. The question is there enough in the numbers this time that can result in the stock continuing to do well as it has been over the last 3-4 days? Back to you.
The big question indeed. Rima, thank you for bringing us the expectations from TCS later this evening. Take a short break. More news and updates follow on the other side. Welcome back. Now, a short while ago, the Prime Ministers of India and the UK jointly addressed the media in Mumbai. Both leaders hailed the recently signed India-UK trade agreement and vowed to strengthen economic, defence and technological ties between the two countries. Parikshit is joining in to tell us more on the meeting between the two leaders. Parikshit.
Well, both the leaders met in a bilateral setting and also with delegations. There were delegation-level talks as well. It's an important two-day visit by the UK Prime Minister just months after the India-UK sealed a free trade agreement. Now, even as this trade deal has to be ratified by the UK Parliament sometime next year, we're hoping this milestone would be achieved at the earliest. But both sides are clearly not waiting for the UK Parliament to ratify this deal. The Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, was here with a 100-member strong business delegation. This included major film houses, production houses in the UK, and key business leaders, including British Airways, were present with him. So there is a broad consensus that this FTA is unparalleled. The business defense ties are going to increase manifold over the next few years. There is an ambition to significantly increase trade in goods, in services over the next 5 to 6 years, increase the mobility of professionals as well. One of the areas that Keir Starmer outlined was education. And the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, welcomed the fact that 9 UK universities are going to open campuses in India. Both sides have also signed a pact on defense training and in the maritime domain as well. So India and UK will do a lot in business terms, but also in Quad, in the Indo-Pacific, and overall, there is going to be a closer strategic and defense partnership in the years to come as well.
Parikshit, thank you for that update. The big meeting between Prime Minister Modi and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Take a short break. More news on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, the latest edition of the Forbes Rich List is out, with Reliance Industries' Mukesh Ambani retaining his crown as India's richest person and its only centi-billionaire with a net worth of $105 billion. At number 2 is infrastructure tycoon Gautam Adani and family with a fortune of $92 billion. Retaining the third spot on the list is Savitri Jindal of the OP Jindal Group, whose net worth fell by $3.5 billion to $40.2 billion. Telecom magnate Sunil Bharti Mittal was the biggest gainer with his net worth, which he shares with his family, increasing to $34.2 billion, seeing him climb 3 places to the 4th richest spot. Now, tech billionaire Shiv Nadar, last year's 4th richest, slipped to 5th place with a fortune of $33.2 billion. And ace investor and promoter of Avenue Supermarts, Radhakishan Damani, took 6th place with a fortune of $28.2 billion. Sun Pharma's Dilip Shangvi, the Bajaj family, Cyrus Poonawalla and Kumar Mangalam Birla make up the rest of the top 10 spots. And today, we pause to remember Ratan Tata, the visionary industrialist who transformed the Tata Group into a global powerhouse. Under his leadership, India's corporate landscape witnessed growth, innovation, and global expansion on an unprecedented scale. His legacy is not just in business success, but in setting new benchmarks for corporate governance, ethical leadership, and long-term value creation for investors and markets alike. Join us for a special coverage on CNBC TV18 at 5:30 p.m. today as we look back at Ratan Tata's legacy and the impact he leaves behind on markets, businesses, and future generations. With that, we call time on this edition of Business Lunch. We leave you with the Nifty still above the mark of 25,100. From me and the team that put this show together, thank you so much for watching. Midcap Radar on the other side.